What is up YouTube, and welcome back to another 7 Nights Rebirth video. And if you guys watched my last tier list video, we did talk about the legendary pluses and how they are in PvE content. Well, today we are going to be looking at the regular legendaries in the game to give you guys a better idea of what characters you want to build and even wishlist. Now, a lot of you guys have been asking about PvP content, especially Guild Wars. I will have that up on my channel in the next few days, so don't worry. We're just going to go through the PvE tier list first because there are a decent amount of newer players starting the game because of the anniversary event. So we are talking about PvE first and foremost today. So we're going to start with the tier list though, guys. So first up we have Aragon. This guy's not really used anywhere. You guys do not need to build him. He is not good in PvE content. You can actually use him in PvP. He's actually not that bad in like tank comps, but outside of that, very niche. I don't really think you want to build him at all. He is a very common crafting fodder unit. People use him to craft into other legendaries or also use him in Mercure's lab. Next up we have Alice. So Alice is pretty solid. I'm gonna put her in decent. She's not really a must build. The reason why she's decent is because she has two really powerful healing abilities. She also is extremely good for death comp. If you're running a death comp, she's like one of the best healers, if not the best one, because she gives you a defense buff, continuous healing, which heals you for a long time. Just really good when you pair her with Aquila, because Link and continuous healing are super OP together, because you take the same amount of HP on everyone and then you're healing the same amount of HP with that continuous healing, making her a decent character. Next we have Rook. You don't really want to use this character, not that good. I'm gonna put him down here. He is, actually I'll put him in placeholder. I don't think he's as bad as Aragon. He does have built-in block chance for your team, so okay character, but honestly you might as well use Evan over him. If for some reason you guys have him before Evan, sure you can use him, but you start the game with Evan. And I think Rook is okay, but not the best option. So next we have Nox. So Nox is going to be almost most build, decent. So the reason why I say almost most build is because Death Team, even though it's really good, Nox is a death character. You don't have to run it, especially because we have Kyle. So usually in the past when you were running two teams in Nightmare to progress, you would run your magic team with Mercure, Yanhee, and like whatever magic character you have. And the second team would be the death team, because before Kyle, the physical teams were just not that strong and you couldn't really kill fast enough, so death was really good. But nowadays with Kyle, you can kind of just brute force without deathing at all. So I'm going to put him in decent, still a really solid character. He's like one of the best death characters in the game because there's not really a lot. Next up we have Nia. So Nia has a buff strip, she has cooldown, pushback, she has AoE shock. Pretty good character for PvP, but for PvE there's just better units to use. Mostly because her passive isn't really that good in PvE content, it's just that effect hit rate boost. So because of that, we have her in the placeholder tier. Definitely above Rook, but yeah, she's a placeholder unit. Next we have Shane. Must build unit, you're going to use her in Tower. The Tower with 20 floors, the rotating one, the one that refreshes. You're also going to use her in Dragon. You can also use her in Castle Rush. You can also use her in Ox King until you get to Ox 10 when you get Espada. And just one of the best single target DPSs in the game. You can use her in power-up dungeons, just really good in PvE. You also can use her in Advent Expedition. So must build character, you just have to use her. Same thing with Pascal. Pascal is like one of the most broken single target DPS in the game, if not the best. Power-up dungeons, Tower of Trials, Raid for Hydra, you name it, he's just absolutely amazing. Advent Expedition, he's absolutely required. And also for Castle Rush, you definitely need to have him for the Sunday, I think, Saturday or Sunday, when you fight Chris. Next we have Chancellor. Chancellor is actually pretty good in PvP, which might surprise you guys, but it's mostly because of Kyle's release. He's a pretty good answer. I'll get more into that in my PvP tier list, but not really a character you want to use for PvE content. Velika. So Velika is a must-build character. She is really good in Tower. Regular Tower, she's really good, but most importantly for Tower of Trials, you need her to, like, you know, keep up your Lee taunt on specific timings, to just have your skills rotate fast enough. So definitely makes Tower of Trials really easy. So you definitely want to build her. Definitely required. Not as high of a priority as Shane and Pascal, because tower is something you do a little bit later on after you start farming raid for a bit, but really good in tower. Also a very good farmer for 1-1 Nightmare and even 6-1, but past that she's not going to really do that well. Daisy, another must build character. She's going to be higher than Belka but lower than the single target DPS, mostly because you use her in Ox King. You can also use her in Advent Expedition, but for the most part you can use Black Rose even on level 10 of raid for Ox King, but once you do get her, you definitely want to build her because you will need her to push into 11 and 15. Lina. Okay, Lina is like a must build no matter what. The thing with Lina is you will need to get her to T2 to be very strong, and you will need to skill enhance her basic attack, but once you do, she's like the best healer in the game. She's better than Alice in general because she doesn't need to use her skills to heal. Her basic attacks will just end up healing, which makes it very, very powerful. And her purple skill, the one that gives you a damage boost and defense down on the enemies, very strong. And she gives you a crit damage buff. Just absolutely broken, one of the best characters in the game. Definitely a must build, no matter what. You want to build her ASAP. I think you get her for $1 if you spend $1 on the game. Definitely worth it if you guys are playing the game seriously, because she's absolutely crazy strong. You won't feel how strong she is until, like I said, you get her to T2 and once you get her basic attack upgraded. But once you do, absolutely broken. Amelia, placeholder unit. I actually like to use her sometimes. I think she's underrated. Maybe I could put her in decent, but she has a Dispel. The only thing is her CC is 3 targets, so it's mostly built for Guild Wars, obviously. And her healing reduction, it's okay, but not the most important thing. In fact, you can just use a Kagura if you want that, because she has it. And also Mercure has it for the magic team, so she's a placeholder unit. Sieg. Sieg is a very, very good unit. Very, I don't want to say must build, but he's like a decent character. The reason why is because he's mostly for late game. You can use him actually in Dragon Raid. You can also use him in Castle Rush. And he's really good at making you do a lot more damage. He has that stun immunity, which is what you replace Evan for with. But the thing is, he doesn't have any defensive capabilities unless you build him on full damage. But if you build him on full damage, you need him to be very high dupes. You need him at least T6, ideally higher, honestly, so that he deals enough damage to heal you, but is tanky enough to survive. So it's very hard to build him, but if you do, he's absolutely amazing. Bdam, also a decent character. He is good in Castle Rush. He's also good in Advent Expedition for Karma. If you guys are struggling with Karma on Advent Expedition with your guild, Bdam is the answer. So I'm going to put him here because, you know, not the highest priority, but definitely a character you want to start building now. Yushin, another decent character. I think he is like up here. I don't want to say he's a must build, but my god, at T2, this character is so busted for early game or mid game progression. He has an AoE CC, right? AoE paralysis. He has a 3 target dog paralysis, and at T2, his dog paralysis turns into a Dispel, which makes him an extremely powerful character. And he fits right into the magic setup because you can run Mercuriani, and usually you need like an extra, magic character, so people usually bring Vanessa or even Yushin. And Yushin's very good because, 2 CCs, he is very tanky, he has the effect hit rate boost, which is really good, and he also can dispel your team at T2. Ballista, don't use her, not really good in PvE. I'm trying to make her work in PvP. She's okay, that's all I'm gonna say, but for PvP content, that's where she's mostly focused on. PvE content, just not that good. Even though you might fight her in tower and get completely owned, don't get baited, she's not good in PvE content. Ruri, must build character, she is for Castle Rush. Also, I believe you use her for Advent Expedition, I might be wrong, but she's a must build. If you get her, you're gonna have to build her for Castle Rush if you don't want to get kicked from your guild, because otherwise you can't really score that high, so definitely a must build character. I'd put her, I think this is like a good order. Espada, must build character. In terms of usability, she's like the least used out of the raid characters, not by much, but because Ox King is like the most important raid to farm early and mid game, and you'll still farm it late game, I'm gonna put her here. You want to build her ASAP to get into Ox King 9, Ox King 8, Ox King 10 even, because that is where you start farming Assassin set and Block set, and that is where you will be putting, not where you will be putting, that is what you will be putting on most of your characters, just like entirely. block set on every support, assassin set on every DPS, and you're fine for PvE content. So I'm going to put her here. Honestly, I might even put her higher because I think this character is like the most important character to build right now for new players, and even like dupe it high. She's also used in Advent Expedition and also Tower of Trials. So it's not like you're only using her for raid. Miho. So Miho is also similar to Ruri. You kind of need her for Castle Rush. However, I will say not as important because you can do it with just Ruri. You don't need Miho and Ruri. Obviously, you need them together to score high. But you can actually take out you can actually take out Miho for T2 Yani, and it works very fine. So yeah, definitely a good character as well. But you will eventually want to build her, but not a must build early game. You will want to build her later though. Taka. Taka is also the same thing as Miho, where you really need him to score high in Castle Rush. However, it's not the top priority because he is going to be a character that can get replaced by Kyle, and you could still score like 1 mil plus with Kyle. Taka is like what you need to score even higher than that, so eventually you will build him for Castle Rush, but until then, Kyle will fit the bill. And that is pretty much it for this tier list for the legendary, just the regular legendary characters for PvE content in general. Like I said, you know, it's just my own opinion. If you guys have any other suggestions for tier lists, let me know in the comments down below. As I said earlier, I will have more PvP tier lists up, and I also will have like a Guild Wars defense and offense guide soon, once the season kind of draws closer to the end. So you guys can, watch for that. But once again, thank you for watching. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.